up all of the rocks trying to find where it's leaking. He found the leak. He couldn't plug it. So I had to keep running to the garage, turning the water on, running back, turning it off, running on, and then we don't speak English. So all I said is, mas, too mucho.
Agua. Mucho agua. Too mucho agua. So anyway, I want to just say something to everybody that was waiting for us. If there anybody that was waiting for us live, we're live now. What happened was Tommy T at his homestead in Nevada had an issue with a water main. Like, was it just a water sprinkler or was it a big main?
It was just we have a sprinkler system set up around the property, so it goes on. And of course, in the summertime, in Vegas, you're very limited to how much water you can put out, right? Very limited. They have the huge fines. So we must have sprung a leak in one of the sprinkler systems, and I couldn't find it. I was digging and digging, I couldn't find it. And so then the guy came out and he was doing it for me, and he was splashing water everywhere. I got my Dodger jersey on.
So the guy that was there was the assistant to the head.
I don't even know his name.
Just a guy.
I didn't even need him to do this, but he's got the blower. He's over there blowing the leaves in the back. I don't even need that.
Well, he just probably feels responsible in a way. He comes there. It's the first time he comes because the owner couldn't come to the job. And then the water's all over the place. Mucho agua, mucho agua, mucho agua. And he's probably freaking out. He doesn't want to get in trouble. So now he's out there doing other chores that he really doesn't even need to do. You probably could bring him in. He probably would do the dishes. Put him in the dishwasher. Maybe he would change a light bulb. Because he's probably really nervous now. You better let him know that no problem, no probleme.
All right, there you go.
Tell him no probleme. Don't worry. You didn't do nothing wrong. My goodness. So again, I'm sorry. This is Old Men in Sweats, Barry D, and my buddy here, Tommy T. And this is our program. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Action. And that's my skull. So this program is brought to you by our Cajun brothers at Boot Crew Media and Hornitos Tequila. Here's to the shot takers, the ones who, like us, believe nothing greater ever happens if you don't take a chance, because that's a shot worth taking. And with Tom, he's still in the backyard and he's working with the gardener guy on the water main break, and he should be back anyway, but I will take my Hornito shot. Hornitos and Boot Crew Media are proud sponsors of Old Men in Sweats, as they should be, even though we are late today. And I will do my shot right now. Beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful shot. So as soon as Tommy T enters back into screen, we will get to our sweaty hit list. I'm going to do the rundown of the sweaty hit list for this week. We're going to do a Raider wrap-up of the Raider debacle game against the Bolts, where there was a rain delay, a lightning delay, and the Raiders. It was just an unremarkable game. Then we're going to go Thursday Night Football, which is going to be on in about 15 minutes. We got a great game, Rams Seahawks. Then we're going to go our Sunday Sweat. We might have an injury. Doogie Howser, MD, might even have an injury with the guy outside. Maybe he's got an injury, and then we'll move on. We'll move on. But Tommy, so what's he doing?
Well, he was using the blower. He was doing the leaves and everything. But I was telling him I just had the property done like a week ago. I only called his boss just to fix the water. But I was having a hard time. All I know is agua and perfecto and mucho and dos. So we're trying to communicate. He's a very nice guy, and his name is Armando. He's doing it. I said, Armando, muy bueno. You're muy bueno. But we don't know each other's language, so it's tough.
Yeah, so is he leaving soon?
Well, he's gonna finish blowing a little bit of leaves, but I told him I only need a poquito,
Yeah, poquito leaves. I don't know Spanish for leaves, but poquito.
I just know a little. Just do a little. That's all I said.
But the water thing is solved. There's no water. It's fixed.
Yeah.
All right, so the water thing has been corrected, and you're not going to get in trouble by the city. They're very sensitive. You're right about how much water.
Yes.
So that's good. I like it. I see that Tommy T, even though in the middle of this chaos, it was a catastrophe.
It was.
That happened, that Tommy still had of the right mind to wear his Dodger gear today after the beautiful. Just tell me just what you thought about that beautiful win last night. I mean, it was
a great game. It was the greatest game. You know, the Dodgers won 106 games, but they came in second place in their division, so they have to play this ridiculous one wild card game. And the NFL is not like, I mean, Major League Baseball is not like the NFL. You can't play one game. It doesn't work that way.
Oh.
But that's the way it is. So the Cardinals come in. The Cardinals just won 17 games in a row, and they've been owning the Dodgers in the playoffs the last 10 years, right? They're so confident. And it was they scored a run in the top of the first inning off of Scherzer. Scherzer didn't have his stuff. He struggled 4 1/3 innings, right? I love Scherzer, though. The manager came out to the mound to get the ball from Scherzer because he had guys on base in the 5th inning. And Scherzer sticks out his hand to shake his hand. And the manager says, no, give me the ball, right? And Dave Roberts said, give me the ball. So Scherzer reluctantly gives him the ball, walks off, and he was pissed, which you want. You want your guy to be pissed, be taken out, right?
Yeah.
So, Dodgers got a run in the 4th inning, I think, tied it up 1-1. But the Dodgers didn't give up any more runs. They gave up that run in the top of the 1st inning on a wild pitch. And then the Cardinals, with a great hitting team, couldn't get another run. It was a great game.
It was incredible.
It was in the 9th inning. Chris Taylor, who the Dodgers got for nothing from the Mariners like 5 or 6 years ago. They got him for nothing. I think they got him for a box of Cohibas or something for nothing. And they got him. And he crushes a 2-run home run. It was a home run the second it left his bat. And he's not a big guy. He's only like 6 feet, 170 pounds. But the second he hit it, it was gone.
That ballpark, I love that ballpark, CHAVEZ, RAVINE. I love it, and it's really weird because we've been to a lot of games there. And I tell people all the time, you can sit in the home run seats, and it's a great view. The stadium's built in the 60s, but it's a beautiful stadium.
50 years ahead of its time.
It's incredible.
It's
very intimate. Even if you're in the home run seats, it's very intimate. I mean, that home run area is not gigantic, but it seems every time you hit a ball there, it's weird. It seems like it's always got a chance.
That's great.
Get out. Always got a chance. But I want to say one thing, and then I want to get into the Raider wrap-up. The Kenley Jansen guy, the closer for the Dodgers, I think he got hammered last year. He didn't do well. I think it was last year. I don't think he did that well.
Yeah, he had a bad year last year. They removed him from the closer spot last year, and they brought on another guy, and a little chubby guy closed it out for us.
Yeah, did you see, though, that he changed his motion now? He's got a weird extra thing he does.
You know, it's funny. He's got like the Dak Prescott. He's got like he's on the mound.
Yeah.
He's got the thing where he comes to a set position, and then he does the Dak Prescott
that
thing.
Hip.
Yeah, and I don't even know how you could get away with that.
Isn't that a balk?
No, they say that until you come set. Once you come set, like once you come to a set position, it can't be a balk. So I think when he's doing this, I think he's doing the Dak, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think somebody said, was Buck doing that game?
No.
Who did that game?
I don't think it was Joe Buck. It was TBS. I don't think it was TBS.
So the weird thing about it, though, they said something that he did that on purpose to remind himself to stay tight in.
Yeah.
That he doesn't go out.
Accurate, yeah.
But he did well, if that's what he's got to do. I just thought it was an interesting little extra move.
He struck out Bader or whatever his name is, 9th inning.
But let's just the last thing I want to say about this is baseball. We grew up in Rome, New York, where the commissioner Rob Manfred's from. I played soccer with Rob's younger brother Lee. Lee was a goalie. He was probably the only, I think they're Italian. He was like 5'9", a goalie in soccer. I didn't understand it.
Well, that's Rome, New York. That's tall in Rome.
In Rome, New York, that's tall. They put him in the goal, but he had big legs, like tree trunk legs, like Robert Newhouse.
Yes.
And he could jump. And he was a pretty good goalie. But baseball, to me, I love baseball, but I'm a crazy depressed Oriole fan, but now I'm a Dodger fan too. But I just think the way they do things, it's like you win 106 games and you got to play another game. I mean, come on, really? Yeah. I got to play another game.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Baseball struggles. Listen, they're not the NFL. I mean, so let's start with the Raider wrap up. You talked
let's
about the Raider game.
Let's go into the Charger game that was, last week. Let's go to the Charger game.
So the game was delayed by lightning, right? Even though I don't know how that's possible because I thought there was an indoor stadium.
Yeah.
So but the game was delayed because now everything's about safety. Okay. So the game was delayed by lightning, and then the Raiders delayed the game another half they didn't come out and play until the second half. Right? They were down 21-0. So the Raiders came out in the second half and they scored. They had 2 good touchdown drives, right? Mm-hmm. You're nuts, buddy. They have 2 touchdown drives, and then they get the ball back again. They stopped the Chargers again. 3 times they stopped the Chargers in the second half. They get the ball again. They drive down to the 45-yard line of the Chargers, and they have 4th down, and they couldn't convert on the 4th down, and that was the game. Then the Chargers got the ball. They scored a touchdown, and that was the game. But the Raiders made a game of it for a minute. They tried to come back, but it just didn't work.
It was they just got behind. And then they didn't look like they wanted to be there. And I actually tweeted out that there were more Raider fans there, that the Charger fans were at the beach, and all the Raider fans were there. It was a really weird thing. You can blame the delay that caused them to be off a little bit, but it didn't bother the Chargers. And then Gruden said that he didn't understand the lightning thing, but it's an open air stadium, even though it has a roof. That's why, I guess it's considered open air. And then he mentioned something about he wasn't happy about the locker room. He says whoever designed that locker room, the visiting locker room, they must have did it on purpose to make you get frustrated. He said it's like a maze, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, once again, Gruden's talking about something that shouldn't matter. And the Raiders did this last year. They won 3 tough games. They won 2 overtime games. They beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Those are 3 tough games, regardless of how bad the Steelers are playing at the outset of the season. And so now they come in and they play the Chargers in L.A. It's a home game for the Raiders. Everyone knows that they're going to have way more fans than the Chargers. And they come out and they lay a big egg. They have a big fat egg. They can't, that's what they did last year. Last year they started out 2-0, and then they ended up 8-8. You can't come out with performances like that. If you're going to lose the game to the Chargers, fight for it. And so now I'm seeing, for the first time this year, I'm seeing the Raiders look like last year, which, even in the games that they won, they tried to give them away. When they beat Miami and beat the Ravens, a couple times they looked like they tried to give them away. The Raiders are just too inconsistent, and they're showing it again this year. Even though they're 3-1, they gotta be more consistent. Have an even keel performance week after week. You're not going to win every game, but you got to play your game.
Yeah, that game, I just don't understand. They just didn't look ready. I was like, and Jacobs was playing. He was doing okay. And then, Waller, there was one play that they had a great pass, and then it took all the air out of the balloon because it was a unsportsmanlike conduct because it was spiked. The tight end guy spiked it. Waller, and I was like, this is stupid.
It's stupid.
That wasn't. They didn't need to penalize him for that, did they?
Well, that's a new. It's called a point of emphasis this year. It's a new rule where they're trying to stop the taunting thing. You can't let these players taunt for years and years, and then all of a sudden come into the season and say, "Okay, everybody, no more taunting." Well, that doesn't work that way. It doesn't just stop. It's an emotional game. And these guys, they lose control for a second or two, and they're penalized. So
yeah, it doesn't. And when Waller did that, he caught it. He was on the sideline. I think he just was frustrated of the way the game was going. Exactly. They weren't doing anything, so he was just spiking on a guy. He did spike it on the sideline of the other team, but it didn't hit nobody. He didn't direct it to anyone, and I'm like, come on. Just let it go. And that really was a bummer.
Again, though, it's happened enough this year, and the coaches are probably talking about enough where you can't spike the ball. If you score a touchdown, you could spike the ball. But the other thing is this, even when you score a touchdown or get a big interception or a big fumble recovery, the message is you only can celebrate with your team. You can't turn to the other guy and go, "We got you." I mean, it's a ridiculous rule, but you just can't do it, buddy. You can't do it, right?
So trash talking, which has been around forever, and it's also a way to psych guys out. Like, there's ways to mentally psych a guy out and get him off his game. So they're even taking away that edge of and I don't think that's fair, because there are some guys that are really good at it. I mean, Larry Bird was probably the best trash talker ever. And I just think, like, I don't know. I just think it's a something they don't really need to worry about. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's another thing. That's the NFL. But
so overall, that game, you thought it was a terrible game. It really was. I mean, I'm trying to look at some stats. I don't even know if they had any stats. I mean,
that was a Monday night game. It was 2 nights ago, right? 3 nights ago. It was a Monday night game. Yeah, no, it was a bad game. It wasn't an exciting game. And then, of course, with the lightning delay, when you delay the game 15 or 20 minutes, it almost makes the start of the game anticlimactic a little bit. It was just a weird game right from the start. Right? Yeah,
like the stats, the Raiders stats, it's like nothing. Like Jacobs 13 for 40, Ruggs 3 for 60. I mean, Waller only had 7 targets, 4 catches. I mean, Carr was 21 to 34 for 196. Yeah. 2 TDs and a pick. I mean, the best play of the whole game for the Raiders was when that little Renfro guy, I like that little water bug. I like him. He, on a special team play, they tried to you see that fake punt the Chargers did?
Oh, my God. He made the tackle of the day.
That was the best play of the whole game. I mean, it was one of those games like you're watching and you're waiting for something to happen for the Raiders. You're like, something's going to happen, and nothing happened.
Nothing happened, yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, so what do they got this week? This is going to be tough.
They got the Chicago Bears.
I don't know.
I think they're in Chicago, right? They're in Chicago.
Yeah, and the rookie's coming out, and the rookie's going to play quarterback.
Yeah, but you want that rookie. I mean, you that's who you want to play, a rookie that's not ready to play in the NFL. That guy's not ready.
You don't think you want the terrible ginger quarterback?
Well, either way, the Bears don't have a quarterback. I mean, this guy Justin Fields might be a good quarterback someday. He's not good now. I mean, he's not going to be good now. He's not ready. He's just, if you rush him, he's going to run. He's going to just run. Like, he's not going to step up in the pocket and hang in there and throw the ball and stuff like that. He's just not ready. He can be an excellent quarterback, but I don't think the next 4 games he's going to be excellent. So the Raiders got an opportunity to come back and go 4-1. Go back to 4-1.
Yeah, and they're lucky that game's at home. I think that's going to be a big thing for them. I think they'll take that game. I don't think they'll have a lot of problems. It's going to be closer than you think, but I think they're lucky they're at home. And I tell you, they're going to have to play better than they did Monday night, because that was just it was weird. I was like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't even think I'm watching a game here. It was like San Diego just went down and they got their 3 touchdowns, and then it was like the Raiders came out a little bit, but then it just nothing really occurred. Like that turning point never happened.
No. Well, the turning point, they did come back. They were down 21-14. They had the ball. They were driving. They were in the 45-yard line. If they could have converted there, even got a field goal, who knows? But they just got stopped, and then they had no more fight in them.
All right, so we'll see. They need to step up a bit, for this next game. That's a winnable game at home. They got to win it. They had a bad game. Okay, so that's that. But I agree with you about Gruden. Quit talking about these things like the locker room. You was talking about the Lightning. The Lightning, the other team had to go inside the locker room too. The other team was out there warming up, and the same thing happened. Now, maybe they got a...
Gruden has to understand something. Gruden's the kind of personality, because he was on TV for so long, and he was pretty popular, and he had that quarterback show on TV before the draft, and he had all this stuff, and he was a Monday Night Football guy, and also he won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. He's such a lightning rod of a personality that everything he says is going to spark. It's going to spark stuff. So he's got to talk less, like a lot less, unless the guy loves the sound of his voice. But Gruden should just talk about the game. Talk about the, where we went wrong today, or what we got to work on, or, give a lot of BS coach speak. But stop talking about like the peripheral stuff. You know, like the story about Max Crosby. I came into work, at 5 o'clock in the morning, and his car was always there. Enough with your cute little stories. Stop trying to be a personality. Just be a coach for now. You can go back and be a personality at another time, but he's always saying something that kind of like coy or funny or half, like he's always got to show some kind of personality. He's got to tame it, calm it down, and just focus on the game. So little comments about the locker room, little Twitter comments, where Twitter picks up on it. My question is, why are you talking about the locker room? Who cares? Who cares? I mean, the Boston Celtics used to paint their locker room pink, or one of the teams, one of the NFL teams used to paint their locker room pink. I don't know if it was Nebraska or one of them. They painted their locker room pink to make the players more tame. The Celtics,
the visiting locker room.
Yeah, the Celtics in the NBA Finals, they would turn off the air conditioner in the locker room. So when the Lakers went in the locker room, they couldn't even rest. Like, of course, like who cares?
Yeah, so just because SoFi Stadium's, a multi-billion-dollar stadium, I think that's actually a good move. They probably did do it on purpose. They made it whatever. They made it like a maze. They don't need to make it comfortable for the visiting team. And I like that. Again, to me, that's kind of like a psychological thing, just like taunting. I like that. I don't got a problem with that. You got to take it out of your head as a player or a coach like Gruden. Take it out of your head. Don't talk about it. Move forward. Play. Yeah. I mean, so we'll see. I like the Raiders against the Bears. I think they'll win. Yeah. Like, he needs to get in that pose you do, Gruden. The what's that? The yoga pose. Like one of those poses he needs.
There's a million of them.
Not down dog. He needs the
half lotus,
Yeah, he needs something, this guy, because he's like you said, it just be a coach, and I think and just stop that nonsense.
Stop with your quips. We don't need your quips.
That's an interesting word. That's almost like, I think that's a word Larry David would use. And that's like a Larry David word. That's like a word Larry David would use. That's awesome. All right, so now let's go to Thursday Night Football. Now the game's going to kick off pretty soon. Yeah, but let's just talk quickly about it. Then we'll come back at the end of the show and watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, so I just saw that Chris Carson, Seattle's number one running back, is injured. He's always injured.
Yeah, they never have a healthy running back.
Seattle's at home. No, are they at home?
Yeah.
No,
yes.
No.
Yes.
Seattle's at home, and they're giving and the Rams are giving 2.5. So Seattle's a home underdog. That's rare. It's rare.
It's really 5.5.
Yeah, because they're 3 points. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like Seattle. I don't mind Seattle in this game.
Well, I tell you, I think the biggest thing is, Wilson, last week against the 49ers, they played terrible. Both teams played terrible in the first half, and then the Seattle they beat them in the second half. But the Rams have to come back from that Arizona Cardinal matchup. And who's doing the schedule again? The Rams play the Cardinals, and then they have to go Thursday night on a short week and play the Seahawks.
Hey, man, well, look at Seattle. They were in San Francisco on Sunday, and on a short week, they got the Rams. So they kept it in the division at least.
Yeah, at least it's close by, but those divisional games are so important. Like, I'm not going to be popular for saying this, and the NFL's not going to think they're not going to like me. They don't probably even know me. But I don't think the Thursday night football thing works. I think the players would love if for me to say this, because I just think it doesn't work. And I know they do it, but like, this is a perfect example. The Rams come off that game against the Cardinals and the Seahawks against the 49ers. I'm surprised anyone's playing.
Buddy, you know what they should do for the Thursday night game? They have a 16-man practice squad roster, right? And they have all these kinds of rules where you can bring a couple guys on from the practice squad and all this. But for the Thursday night games, they should allow you to activate the entire 16-man practice squad. So for that one game, you play with your 53 plus your 16s. For that one game, you got 69 guys.
They should allow you to
do that.
That's a really good point. And then also
a Thursday night game, just a Thursday game. So and then also you can rotate more guys in and out, and there's less chance of an injury. And they're already on the team.
And it also gives them more game experience then. Yeah. Right? Like real game experience. That's a really, really Good idea. So, like, this game, like, right now, it's part of my Costanza Cash picks, this game. So I'm going to pick it right now. I like the Rams, but I'm not going to lay the points. I'm going to take the money line, and I'm going to take the over 53.5. I'm going to buy a half on that. So I'm taking the Rams minus 140 money line and the Rams over 53. And then I'll give my
a point or half a point.
I'm not going to. No, I'm not. I'm going to buy the half a point on the 53.5 over, so it's 53. But I'm not going to buy a half a point on the 2.5. I'm going to just play money line Rams to win the game minus 140. I'm not getting involved in the spread on that game. And the game's going right now. I think the big matchup in this game, I mean, first of all, can anyone guard Cooper Kupp? I don't know if anyone can guard that guy. And then can Ramsey shut down Metcalf? I think that's, like, interesting. What do you think of those two things? Can anyone guard Cooper Kupp and Metcalf against Ramsey? I think those are interesting, inside things of this game. What do you think of that?
Ramsey guarding, who's that? Cooper?
No, Ramsey against Metcalf.
Yeah, well, Ramsey's going to have to travel with Metcalf for sure.
You think he could do that?
Yeah, he's going to have to travel with him for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But you also got the other guy, Lockett, who's tough. What happened? Did I lose you? Barry D. I think I lost Barry. Okay, so Barry D has a little power outage, and right now he's just frozen on the screen. But what an expression he's frozen with. That's great. So, we were covering Thursday Night Football, which is Seattle's playing the Rams right now. Barry was suggesting that Jalen Ramsey follow DK Metcalf, which I think is probably going to be the case. But also you have to keep in mind that they got Tyler Lockett too. So they got two great receivers. So whoever Ramsey blankets, the other guy should have his opportunities. And I'm sure Seattle knows that, and Seattle's going to game plan for that. So that's probably a given right there. That's going to happen for sure. But also we were going to do the Sunday Sweat, which is covering all the games that happened this past week. And there were a couple of big ones. Barry's trying to get back on like crazy. There's nothing he can do right now. Last week, the Giants got their first win of the year against the Saints, which for some reason I felt like they were. I felt like the Giants were going to come out and play their best game of the year. The Giants aren't as bad as their record. They're not as bad as being 1-3. They could easily be 3-1 if they, didn't screw up in that Washington game. And I think Joe Judge was way too conservative in the Atlanta game when he had 4th and 4 in the 39-yard line on Atlanta's 39-yard line, and he punted. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody punts from the opposing team's 39-yard line. Only Joe Judge did that, and he lost that game. I don't know if it was just because of that play. He claims that they punted Atlanta deep into the territory and into their own territory, and then Atlanta had to punt back. So he claims that it worked. But I believe that psychologically, your team knows this. Your team knows when you're punting on another team's 39-yard line and it's only 4th and 4. So you're not going for the field goal and you're not going for the first down and you're punting. And that your team knows that you don't have any confidence in their offense to convert. And you probably don't have any confidence in their defense to hold in case you don't complete the play. So I just feel like Judge held them back in the beginning, but the Giants came back and got that win. But the game of the week last week was the New England Patriots against Tampa Bay. It was Brady's coming home, and it was the most talked about regular season game that I can remember. And I thought it was a little ridiculous. The game wasn't that well played. It was 19-17. I watched the game with Chris Collinsworth covering the game, and he complimented Mac Jones so much. He just went on and on and on about what a great game Mac Jones played, and just how poised he was and how he was making all the right plays. And I just didn't see it. I thought Mac Jones played okay, but I didn't think that his play warranted that kind of praise. Barry D, are you back?
I'm back. Well, you just continued. I like that, how you did that.
Well, you had a frozen look on your face for a while. But I was talking about the New England game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady going back to New England, and I was talking about how Chris Collinsworth was overpraising Mac Jones. I mean, he just loved the way Mac Jones played that game, and Mac Jones had 17 points. Like, I don't get it.
It's just they have to say that. It's just nonsense.
It didn't sound like he was. It sounded like he really believed that Mac Jones is just doing a fantastic job. He didn't do a fantastic job. He did an okay job. It was an okay game. It wasn't. They made such a big deal out of Brady going back and playing against Belichick. I got to be honest, buddy. I don't even care about Brady and Belichick and how their relationship did or didn't work. Who cares? I don't even care. I don't know why they keep talking about it like it's its own episode of Law and Order, or its own, like, there's Law and Order SVU, there's a Law and Order Organized Crime, right? Now there's Law and Order Brady Belichick. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's like a
nonsense.
TV series.
And the thing too that they keep doing is they keep praising guys like these rookie QBs, for example, and it doesn't matter if they win or lose the game. It's just like, oh, he did good today. Like, he still lost a game. The Buccaneers won that game. So, like again, everyone gets a pass. It's just like, oh, they got to develop. Oh, they got to do this. They got to do that. I mean, we've been waiting in the NBA for Ben Simmons to develop. I mean, the guy comes in the NBA, can't even shoot the ball. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's nonsense. And I think they just say these nice things to say it. And it's like, no, everything's still marked and wins. And it doesn't matter. He's in there. He lost. Their team lost. Fucking cares.
Well, listen, I've been saying this. I've been saying this all along. These rookie quarterbacks that come into the league, they're not ready. It's clear they're not ready. Here's the other thing. New England knows that Mac Jones either isn't ready or is not capable of pushing the ball downfield, because everything that he threw was a garbage 10-yard pass. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's got some poise in the pocket and he could step up, but there's nothing about Mac Jones' game that leads you to believe that this guy is anything special. I don't know. I mean, and New England's not playing well. They're not a good offensive team at all. I don't even know why they make a big deal out of New England. New England's not a good team. They haven't been a good team since Brady left.
It's weird. And what would you call Matt Jones? You thought he looked like the actor from the North Dallas 40?
I always mistakenly want to call him Mac Davis. I don't know why. I have to think twice before Mac Jones, because I see the name Mac. It just when he was first playing for Alabama, he followed Hurts. I think he followed Tua. After Hurts went to Oklahoma, Mac Jones was there when Tua was there, and Mac Jones would get in the game sometime, and I would say to myself, like, who's that? Like, little skinny guy. Like, who's that guy? He didn't even look like he belonged. But then he got the job, and he played it that 1 year, and he played fantastic. So he got drafted. I'm not saying he can't be a good pro, but I watched that game. I watched every play of that game, and there's no way I would have been praising him up and down the field. Oh, my God, he's doing so fantastic. In fact, it came down to the end of the game. There was a minute and a half or something, or 2 minutes left in the game. They had 4th and 4, and Belichick tried to kick a 56-yard field goal. What is that? You had 4th and 4 or 4th and 3. It wasn't even like, I mean, all Belichick had to do was get one more first down, and he could have run the clock out. I'll tell you another thing. Belichick is bad with the clock at the end of games. A lot of people don't realize when Seattle blew that game and they threw the interception, when they had that Super Bowl, all they had to do was give it the Marshawn Lynch, and they would have won the Super Bowl. They threw the interception on the 1 yard line. But people don't realize that Seattle got down to like the 10 or 15-yard line with a minute to go, and Belichick never called a timeout. He had 2 timeouts. He never called a timeout. He let the clock run down.
So he doesn't even do that thing, which I always say this too. Zimmer doesn't do this. I think sometimes you use timeouts to stop momentum.
No, this wasn't the case. He needed to call timeout because he needed to get the ball back. You had to assume that Seattle was going to score. So you call timeout, right? And now there's like a minute left. So if Seattle doesn't score on the next play, you call timeout again. If they score in the third play, now at least Brady's got the ball with like 58 seconds to go. So you can, but he didn't call timeout. Like if you look back at the last 2 minutes, Belichick, he was terrible in that game last week. He's 4th and 3 on the 39-yard line or whatever it was. He chose to kick a field goal. The guy hit the upright from the 56-yard line. Okay, there was a minute and a half or more to go in the game. If he makes the kick, Brady's still getting the ball with a minute and a half to go. Why wouldn't you just go get the first down? Get the first down. So now you're closer for the field goal for one thing. The other thing is you can run the clock out. So when you try to game-winning field goal, if you make it, the game's over. The way he did it, if he made it, the game wasn't even over. Belichick is overrated when it comes to end-of-game clock management. I mean, he's obviously a great coach. You don't win 6 Super Bowls and not be a great coach. But the end of games, he doesn't always make the right calls. So, that was another thing about that game where like Belichick gets so much praise and Brady gets so much praise, and it wasn't that good of a game. It was like, this. Well,
you can win 6 Super Bowls if you have to beat up on the AFC East. That's all you know.
For into the playoffs, you can get into the playoffs 6 times, but yeah.
I know, and so
So and then I got to hear about Mac Jones, who he doesn't look like he's going to be a great quarterback to me. I mean, sorry, but but then again,
he won't be me. He will never be me.
Here's the thing, buddy. Brady wasn't great his first year either. He looked a lot like Mac Jones does now. He was more of a short yardage passing guy. So I don't think Brady was, we thought that he was going to be what he is now or what he was 10 years later when he first got the job. He was looked upon as just a guy that would always check down and take the easy pass, which is what Mac Jones is doing.
Well, no, you got a good point there. I mean, that game sucked. That was a sucky game.
Yeah.
I don't care about it. And it's good that you bring up about Belichick because everybody thinks he's a genius. And I think there's a lot of times with the timeouts, like I mentioned about I mentioned breaking momentum up or giving your defense a rest. But these other things, like you said, you're right. And so let's we've had so far. Let's recap.
That word that you used.
Go ahead.
That word genius. That word genius first started being used on Bill Walsh in the 80s when he started that whole West Coast offense thing with Joe Montana. And that's the first time I heard the word genius being used in the NFL. And I can tell you, Bill Walsh wasn't a genius. And Bill Belichick, there are no geniuses in the NFL. I don't know why they throw around those words. They try to make these guys greater than they are. Regardless of whether you won 6 Super Bowls and he won 2 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator for the Giants, there's no geniuses. There's none of those guys are that smart. None of those guys are smarter. They're not that much smarter than the guys they're facing. It's so ridiculous. But these words, they catch on, and they love to label someone a genius. And so you're just saying what you hear because you always hear these people being labeled what they are. Genius. Bill Walsh was a genius. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure he was. He was such a genius. He walked off the job with the 49ers after 9 or 10 years, and he ended up coaching Stanford. Like that's a real genius. Like, get out of here.
Well, so far, I want to go into a couple Sunday games. So far, we had a water leak at your place, and we had internet connection breakdown at my place. It's the show of the catastrophes here. I don't even know what happened as my internet went down. But you, as a smart guy, it's like the game's got to go on, and you just kept playing the game. I like that. You just kept going.
I didn't know what to do. I just had to play.
But you did well. So I want to talk about 2 games. And if you want to talk about another game or whatever, let me know. But Sunday, I want to talk about obviously the Chiefs and the Bills, and I want to talk about Dallas and the Giants.
Okay, yeah, those are both. I didn't know the Chiefs were playing the Bills this Sunday. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's this Sunday, isn't it? I think it is.
Oh yeah, it's a Sunday night game. Oh, that's the game. That's the game of the week.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a game. Yeah.
So which one do you want to talk about first? Because we got to talk about the Giants against the Cowboys. The Giants had a great week. Came back. They won that game. You know, Jones looked unbelievable. Barkley looked. The whole team looked unbelievable.
Well, I was when you had the Wi-Fi, shut off or something. I was talking about the Giants won their first game, and I was saying that the Giants could easily be 3-1 if their coach wasn't so damn conservative in those first two games. They could have won. They could have beat Washington. They could have beat Atlanta, and they won a tough game against the Saints. I think the Giants are good, and I think the Giants. First of all, I take a lot of heat for this, but I think Daniel Jones is much better than people give him credit for. He's played very well this year. He's only got 2 turnovers this year. He fumbled in the opening game, and then I think he threw an interception on a Hail Mary pass, which I don't know how you attribute that to the quarterback, but he's only got a couple turnovers, right? So he's playing very well. Last week, he was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He was 28 for 40. He had over 400 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 Hail Mary interception. He's done a great job. He's got Kenny Golladay, who's starting to get hot. He's starting to get healthy. And he's from Detroit, and he's a very, very big receiver who can make a lot of difficult catches. And then you mentioned it. Saquon looks like he's gaining confidence in that knee. I think the knee is healthy. I think right now it's a mental thing where, if he's just going to let it rip. And he looks like he scored the last 2 touchdowns. One in the regulation to send it into overtime, and then he scored the winning touchdown in overtime. And I think those are just going to just put the complete charge into him, and he's going to come out against Dallas, and he's going to take control of that game early. I really think the Giants are going to smack Dallas in the mouth early. Now, can Dallas hang in there with them? Because the Giants don't have a great defense. Can Dallas hang in there? Maybe for a while, but for some reason, I think the Giants are going to go on an energy kick and then just play one of their best games, maybe a series of good games.
Well, they did. I mean, they all were it was a weird game. At first it looked like, it's going to be the same old Giants. And then all of a sudden they came out like gangbusters. I mean, come on. The guy was 28 for 40 for 402. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. And then Barkley had 52 yards rushing, but he had another 74 receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on fire. They had 4 receivers, including Barkley as the running back, with over 70 yards. They had Ross with 77, Tony with 78, and then Golladay 116 yards. I mean, they were it was weird. It was another game like the Raider game where I was waiting for the Raiders to explode against the Chargers, and they didn't. And the Giants, it was like this weird game, and then all of a sudden the Giants just came on.
And they won the game. Won the game in overtime. It was a big win. And so now they got the Cowboys. They're going into Dallas. Dallas is playing very good football too. Their defense is much better than last year. And the big reason why their defense is better than last year is because they can pressure the quarterback. That's why that guy Diggs is getting all those interceptions, because they're breathing down the quarterback's neck. The one interception that he got, the one that was down the middle, the quarterback, they were lunging. The defensive line guys were lunging for the quarterback, so he was just getting rid of it. He was rushed in the pocket. And that's why they're getting all those turnovers, is because Dallas is starting to harass the quarterback. But I think that Jones can handle that. I don't think the Giants' line's that good, but Jones breaks free. He's faster than everybody. That guy's so fast.
Yeah, he is. He's good. He's deceiving. That guy's deceiving. And if you have to put I know he's got more experience than Matt Jones on the Patriots, but if you had to look at those two guys, the Giant quarterback's way better. He's a better quarterback.
Oh, way better. Way not even in the same league right now. Not even close.
It's night and day, isn't it? It's night and day. It's like he's got way more tools, that guy.
Yeah. Night and day for right, and Jones is the night.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because everyone gave up on
Jones. Mac Jones and Daniel Jones. Oh, Mac is the night.
Yeah, Mac is the night. But everyone gave up on Daniel Jones, and watching him this last Sunday, I was like, This guy's got tools, man. This guy can do it. And I would praise him way more than the Patriot rookie. I mean, I just, and the only reason I'm saying, because you would look at both those guys and you would think they're similar in a way, but they're really not. Jones is deceivingly quick, and I just think he's more accurate. I think he could throw it downfield way better. And I just think he's got a lot of tools, that guy. I think he's underestimated, that guy. I'd really like him. Now, do I like him against the Cowboys? Well, we'll get to that because Costanza's cash. But let's move on. That's going to be a big game. It's a huge game for the Giants in Dallas. Let's move on to the Chiefs against the Bills because that's the game of the week.
Oh, that's a great game. That's a Sunday night game. Oh, that's going to be a great game. I can't wait for that game.
Kansas City. So what do you think of that game? That's going to be tough.
Well, Kansas City hasn't been playing good ball. I watched their game on the rerun of their game against the Eagles. They scored 42 points against the Eagles, but they didn't play very good defense against the Eagles at all. They played lousy defense.
Yep.
I don't know. Kansas City's not really playing great. They're not playing really great ball yet. Mahomes, they're healthy, so they can explode for 40 points again against the Bills. I haven't seen the Bills except for the first game of the year against Pittsburgh, and the Bills looked terrible in that first game of the year when I watched them, but they since won 3 games. So I don't know. Like, the Chiefs it's about right. The Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite at home, which is about right. It means it's a pick'em game. Basically, it's a pick'em game. Right?
Yeah, but let's look at this. Let me take a sip of my beer because I think it's deceiving. The Bills are deceiving. The Bills beat Houston last week. They crushed them. They beat Washington. Some people could say Washington's got a good D. I don't care. Washington's Washington. They beat Miami. And then they got beat by Pitt. I don't think they've been tested. I mean, I think the Chiefs played the Browns, Baltimore, the Chargers, and Philly. I think that's a big difference. I think the Bills are I don't know about them right now. I think they're going to lose this game. I don't think they're that good. I think, they've been playing good. They're winning games, but they're winning games against nobodies. Come on, look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pittsburgh's not even that good. Pitt beat them. I know that was game 1. Yeah. Then after that, they roll Miami 35-zip. They roll Washington 43-21, and they roll Houston 40-0.
Yeah,
while KC's playing tougher.
Pittsburgh. They didn't look at it all against the Steelers. Not at all.
Not
at all, buddy.
So, I mean, do you think that matters at all? I think their schedule has been weak.
Yeah, it has been, and it does matter. I mean, they're not going to be able to handle the Chiefs' offense. No, the Chiefs are going to score.
Yeah, because look at the offenses they saw. Yeah, they shut out the Dolphins. Washington got 21 points. I don't know how that game panned out, but it was 43-21. If Buffalo was
killed Washington, they killed them.
Yeah. And then Houston 40-0. They're gonna go up against KC, and KC right now is battle tested.
Yeah,
I mean Baltimore, Cleveland, the Chargers, and Philly's not terrible.
Well, no, offensively they can run you. I mean they got speed.
That's a weird game. Like it's interesting. I think if that game was in Buffalo, it might be a little more. I would say, they could win that game. But this is going to prove what Buffalo's got this week. You're going to see.
I think so.
How they travel to KC and what they got. What other game do you like? You like any other game on there?
Well, the Cardinals are playing great. I like the Browns in LA playing the Chargers because the Browns are. I don't think the Browns quarterback's any good. You talk about Cousins. I think that Baker Mayfield sucks.
He's got a bad what do you call it? He's playing with a bad injury.
A labrum.
Yeah, what's the labrum? What is that?
It's part of the shoulder capsule. It's like in the area of the rotator cuff, but it's not on his throwing shoulder. It's on his other arm. It's no big deal.
It's on his
left shoulder. It's not on his right shoulder.
So how do you get that on your left shoulder?
He made a tackle and he got it hit.
So what's he tackling people for?
Because he threw an interception.
Yeah, well, he should run out of bounds. That's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. You don't get in there.
Listen, he's only 5'11". He's not fast. He doesn't have a big arm. He's no good.
The only quarterbacks that used to tackle guys was Joe Cap and Roman Gabriel. They were big. They go tackle guys.
Yeah.
But this guy shouldn't be tackling people. He should just be running out of bounds. I mean, I like the Chargers in that game. They're not good. They're tough.
The Chargers got a way better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
I don't know why they picked that guy number one. These teams, they're so bad. They're so bad the way they draft these guys. But before that draft, I was like, no way. No, don't take Baker number one. Don't do it. Don't do it. They pick him number one. They surround him with everything. He's got the best offensive line. He's got 2 good running backs. He's got multiple wide receivers, right? He's got 2 tight ends. He's got a good defense. They surround him with everything, and he's still not that good. Like, he's still like, what?
He lucked out. The Vikings should have beat them. I tell you right now, I still don't like Zimmer. I think the defense for the Vikings, I'm just trying to push this game together because the Browns, and I obviously I'm still like, you know, I had a heartache from Sunday with the Vikings again, but the Browns, they dominated the game. They put a lot of pressure on Cousins, but at the end of the day, the defense of the Vikings, they still played well, but then they were exhausted near the end. And then one time they were down at the end zone, and the refs gave them like 3 or 4 calls for the Browns to keep going. But in the process of all that, like I talk about timeouts, there were times that Zimmer could have just used a couple times out just for a breather, stop the momentum. But the problem, you know, and I still think the Vikings, that game, even though they didn't play well, they were in that game, and I still think the refs blew a call at the end of that game. The Vikings got the ball back. I thought the Vikings were done. The Vikings got the ball back, and they were on the 25 or 30 of Cleveland, and it was the last play. They had 3 seconds left, and Cousins threw a good ball to Thielen. Thielen got interfered with in the end zone, and they didn't call it. Yeah, and it was like,
yeah, they never do in the end. They don't. They try not to.
You know, but then what they did is they called interference on Kendricks over with a tight end over the middle on the 2-yard line. The guy goes in the end zone. He didn't even grab him. I mean, I just think, like, if you watch that play, I actually watched it. They showed a lot of views of it because at the end, the TV was just showing the ball went and all these guys were around it. But then they isolated on what happened with Thielen, and it was like, wow, he was trying to go that way towards the ball, and the guy he face guarded him. He held, you know, whatever you want to call it, like basketball move, but grabbed him. And, you know, but I can't say the Vikings would have won. Even if they got that, they still would have to put the ball in the end zone. But I don't think Cleveland's that good. Like the Vikings were on the field all the whole game. They only beat them 14-7.
Yeah, they got 1 touchdown and 2 field goals and a safety or whatever. Or no, a 2-point conversion.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way he's going to be running. Mayfield's going to be running for his life against the Chargers. They're going to come on. Well, those guys are going to be in the backfield like crazy against him.
Yeah, I'm not a Mayfield guy, buddy. I don't think he's a good quarterback, and I don't think that team's going anywhere with him. Like, get out of here with this guy. He's, you know, teams don't know how to grab quarterbacks. They just don't know. The other thing is, I say this all the time. There's not 30 good quarterbacks in the world.
No.
There's not 30 good quarterbacks on the planet. So it's funny. There's 32 teams. There's not 32 or 30 good quarterbacks on the planet. There's maybe a dozen or 15. There's none to go around. So you can't screw up your quarterback. Like, you can't. There's not enough to go around. Like, you look through all the teams, and I swear to God, after you go past 15, you're going to go, well, I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want Tannehill. I don't want Carson Wentz. I don't want Teddy Bridgewater. You're going to go down the line. I don't want Jameis Winston. You're going to go right down the line. I don't want Jared Goff. You know, I don't want Davis Mills in Houston. I don't want him. I don't want him. There's not enough quarterbacks to go around in the world. And these teams, they draft Baker Mayfield. It's just like, you guys, we crazy. It's not going to work. It's like drafting Tim Couch.
Oh, wow, that's a name. Tim Couch. Wow, that's a name. So let's move on. How's the game going? Are you watching the game? What's going on?
0-0, yeah.
What? 0-0? I got to put it back on. I had to turn it off because my internet went off. So I just turned it off because I was wondering if it was taking bandwidth. Like, maybe it was taking bandwidth, my TV, and it was screwing up our connection. But I'm going to go back in. So what's it, 0-0?
Yeah, it's the end of the first quarter. They can't get anything going. It's going to be under. This game's going to be under.
What is that? You know, these smart TVs aren't that smart. Like, Peacock. I don't want Peacock. Hang on. Where my thing go?
Hey, so what's up with our? Well, let's skip the Doogie Howser thing this week because we don't have any medical
No,
issues going on.
I'm actually healthy right now. In fact, I'm pretty good right now. How are you?
I'm good. I just did my boot camp today at 12:30.
You did it at 12:30, and I've been eating. I don't know if you noticed, but my sponsor here bowl. This is a suggestion because I've been eating in here. You probably was wondering what I was eating. I have shrimp, rice, corn, black beans, and a little arugula.
Did you make that, or did you go to like Chipotle or something?
I made it, but I'm hinting that I wouldn't mind having a Chipotle bowl every show.
We know you're hinting.
Because basically I copied their bowl. I saw the commercial last night. I was like, I got to make that. The only thing I don't have on here is guacamole. But next time I may do that, or maybe Chipotle will just send me the bowl. But I'm pretty healthy right now. I feel good. I had my shot of Hornitos, and I'm having a Budweiser, the king of beers. But then I'm having my healthy bowl, so I really have no Doogie Howser MD to report.
Okay, so good. So
and you too.
I'm okay. Yeah.
But last night, was your heart racing watching the Dodgers? Or you probably last night almost had a heart attack.
Well, you know what I have to do? The game is so painful that I have to switch. I kept switching to the replay of the Kansas City Philadelphia game because I couldn't watch every pitch. It was driving me crazy.
That's what I do, those games, because you know it's going to be really tight. And you know it's going to come down to a walk-off something. And it's so tight and it's so nerve-wracking. And I was watching the game, and I don't even know. There's people like that Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight. She's in the front row behind the home plate. And people right near her are on their phones while the guy's pitching. I'm like, the guy's pitching right now. Like you look up. And I'm like, how can you not? Like, just go home then and flips channels like we do. Because it's almost like I think they were looking at the phone, not out of disrespect or that they were busy. I think they're just nervous to look up.
So nervous. Oh, my God.
Dude, you're a bigger Dodger fan than me. And I was thinking about you last night as I was switching channels back and forth, hoping when I came back, the Dodgers scored a run. And every time I came back, they didn't. And I'm like, Tom's got to be just beside himself.
Two outs, the bottom of the ninth inning. Bellinger draws a 2-out walk. He got on base 3 times. And then he steals a pitch out of ball in the dirt. He gets to second base. And once he got to second base, that guy Chris Taylor said, all I need now is a single to win.
Yeah.
It's a single. And he shortened up his swing a little bit.
Yep.
The pitch came in, and he crushed it, even with a shortened swing. Oh, my God, it was so great.
It was really good. So let's get on to your take here. What's Tommy T's take today? Is it the Dodger game?
No,
what's your take?
My take is an extension on it's an extension from last week when I talked about these college coaches coming into the NFL and they can't do the job. And then sure enough, after we did the show last week, Urban Meyer loses the game in Cincinnati, and then he doesn't go home with the team. He doesn't go on the plane with the team. So every guy that's covering all these analysts on ESPN and everything, they're all saying, I've never seen a coach not get on the plane with their team because the coaches want to look at the game tape immediately, right? So Urban Meyer doesn't get on the plane with the team. He sends the team back to Jacksonville. He goes to a bar restaurant that he apparently owns, right? In the Ohio area. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it was in Cincinnati. I don't know if he drove to it, but he goes to this bar and he ends up messing around with some woman. But it wasn't like he went into a back room with her. He was just messing around with her at the bar. And then he was messing around with her on the dance floor. And when I mean messing around, I mean he was touching her. You know, I couldn't really see where, but this guy is such an idiot. So, I mean, Urban Meyer is our age. I think he's older than us. He's our age, right? So maybe he doesn't realize that when everyone's pointing a phone at you, they're recording you, you know? So the next day, you know, I don't know if he went back to Jacksonville or if he woke up in Ohio. I don't know where he was, but the next day it hits. All these videos are out with Urban Meyer's grabbing a woman on a bar stool and grabbing a woman on a dance floor. And then, but what it does is it opens up this can of worms where he doesn't get on the plane with the team. So now he gets the job at Jacksonville. He tries to hire the strength coach, Chris Doyle, who's been a racist for 20 years. Then he tries to bring in Tim Tebow to play tight end 10 years after Tim Tebow's ever played in the NFL. Then he tries to say something about the COVID vaccination, something to the effect of, if you're not vaccinated, you're going to get cut. Like something like something. You know, and his team starts out 0-4 and they suck. And then he doesn't even go home with the team. He stays in a bar. I'm telling you, college coaches that get the NFL jobs, they have such a massive ego, Barry. Their ego is so big that they have no idea that they're just a little small cog in the NFL machine. Urban Meyer's nothing now. He's not big man on campus in Florida. He's not big man on campus in Columbus, Ohio. He's nothing. He's actually coaching guys that are also professionals, that are also feeding their families. So they don't even call him coach. Like in NFL, they call you Urban. They call you by your name. So he doesn't understand that you don't just take the night off. You know, you get on the plane, you pull up the tape. Your team's got to see you looking at the tape. If they find out that you're in a bar with a woman, that team is going to be like, this guy does not belong here. And so
it's not professional. I mean,
my original take was college coaches don't belong in the NFL. But now my take is just Urban Meyer just came into this job with this enormous ego that he was a winning championship coach. No, you're not. You're nothing. You're none of the above. You're just a first-year coach with a bummer team. It's like,
yeah, he's looking at it like he's the god that they treated him as at Ohio State and Florida.
No.
And the college thing, you could go out to the bar and do whatever you want to do. You're going to get protected by the boosters in the university, and the NCAA is not going to say nothing. And these guys take that way of them, and he now goes to the NFL, and he doesn't get it. Like, he's out at the bar. He should have been on the plane with them. He leaves them. They go, and he takes off and goes to a bar. Like, what's he at? Some country and western bar? Like, what is this? Like Urban Cowboy? And he's out there and he's dancing, like square dancing. And he's making out with girls. Like, how can he think that that's right, or it's not going to get back?
Well, he's not. But he's not worried about repercussions. Like, he just does things.
My God.
And he's not worried about it. And then it hits later, and he's like, "Oh my God!" Like when he hired that strength and conditioning coach from Iowa, Chris Doyle, and they all told him, "Wait a minute, he lost his job because he's been accused of racism for 20 years, right?"
Hello.
So that's why he lost his job. So you know what Urban Meyer told the press in a press conference? He said, "You don't understand. I vetted him thoroughly. I vetted him, and I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with where he's at." Urban Meyer thought that him telling the media that he vetted this guy and he looked into this guy's past, he thought that the story was over. He thought, I'm Urban Meyer. I vetted him. I know a good coach when I see one, and just trust me. I know.
Wow.
Well, the next day, everybody said, "No, we ain't trusting you." He had to fire him in 48 hours. The other thing he did that people don't realize is he brought that one coach from Florida to Ohio State. He was only the wide receivers coach, but the guy was beating his wife in 2 states, and Urban knew about it. It's like, so he's got an enormous ego, and it's not going to work. It just isn't going to work in the NFL. It's already failed. He's done. Now it's just a matter of when he's going to leave and how he's going to leave. He's done. He's never going to last in that sport, in that team. I don't know if there's any veterans. They probably don't have a lot of veterans because they're kind of starting over. But those guys got to be going, how did we get stuck with this guy, this idiot who doesn't know what he's doing? That's what they're thinking.
And I get what you're saying. So he's basically taking himself and what he was and how he was treated and his ego in college, and he just thinks it translates over here. Now I'm going to go over here, and it's the same.
And everyone points to Jimmy Johnson because he's the success story of the college coach. Jimmy Johnson was at Oklahoma State, Miami, won national championships, and he goes to Dallas. But people don't realize, they don't remember. Jimmy Johnson was 1-15 in Dallas. He was terrible. The second year I think they were maybe 7-9, then 9-7. I mean, he built to those Super Bowls. But Jimmy Johnson's NFL record is not that great. When he went to Miami after Dallas for 4 years, he struggled. He lost a playoff game in Miami. I think he gave up 60 points in a playoff game. So people think that it's easy, that these college coaches can go in there and do their thing. No, it's a very unique situation for you to go into the pros and dominate. The guys that are great are the guys like Belichick and Sean Payton. The longtime assistants. Bill Walsh was a longtime assistant. Tom Landry was a longtime assistant. Mike Nolan. Parcells. Mike Tomlin. Yeah,
Parcells.
Those are the guys that excel.
Because they know how to play the game. I mean, They know how to play the game of being a coach in the NFL. Yeah, and they understand it all because they've been basically brought up through that.
It's a different
So let me ask you this before we move on. Will Urban Meyer last this whole year?
No. He might not coach the next game. I'm not sure he's coaching Sunday. No. He's not going to last. I mean, they're saying all the right things, but at some point the team's going to go, Urban Meyer's going to get in front of the team and start talking about the game, and they're all going to go, nah, man. Nah. All
right, let's do I want to do our picks quick, our Costanza Cash. Last week I was 4-4. I don't know what you were. Do you remember what you were? Huh?
I forgot who I picked.
I think you picked trying to think what you took.
Well, my Tommy T pick of the year is the Giants +7. The Giants plus the points.
I think you were 2-1.
Okay, so
I have to go back and review the tape, but I know I was 4-4. So this week, what do you like?
Well, I like the Giants with 7 points. I think it's a lock.
Okay.
Lock. They're not going to lose that game by more than 7 points. I love that pick. This is funny, but I like Washington to beat the Saints. I think Washington's going to bounce back and play another game. Right?
Wow.
Listen, I'm not a Jameis Winston guy. I'm not a fan of Jameis Winston. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. I think he's uber talented, but I just feel like when these games come down to those pressure moments, I can't count on Jameis Winston. He just hasn't shown me anything yet.
Okay.
So I like Washington over them. And then the other team I like the Chargers to blow out the Browns.
Ooh.
The Chargers are gonna hammer the Browns.
Those are your 3 picks. So you're taking the Chargers right now. They're -2. You're taking the Redskins +2.
Yeah.
And you're taking the Giants +7.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so what I'm taking, let's write those down. We write those down on a piece of paper, so we'll remember them next week. I'm almost positive you were 2-1 though, because I remember I was 4-4. So here I go. So again, everybody, remember this is Costanza Cash Picks. Barry D and Tommy T, big fans with George Costanza, and as older guys, we believe in the George Costanza lifestyle. And so you either go with the old men in sweats. Tommy T just told you he's taking Washington +2, Giants +7, and the Chargers -2. You can go with Tommy T's picks there, or you can do the George Costanza way and go opposite. Whichever way you would like to do, we're with you either way. We're hedging our bets with the George Costanza lifestyle. So now I'm going to pick my 8-team pick. I do 8-team parlay, and you can take them and put them in 2 different parlays or flat bet them or do whatever you want. This is Barry's back up the Brinks truck. Beep, beep, beep. Big cash winners. So here we go. I'm going to take, where's that one game? That one game I really like. Okay. I like the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers. I'll just do money line because the 2 points, who cares about that? I'll invest the money line and the Chargers over. I'm going to take the Cowboys. And
wow.
I'm going to lay the 7 points.
Wow, look at you and I going head to head.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the 7 points because I don't want to spend too much money on the money line. I have a good feeling they're going to win that game by 10, and I'm going to take the over in that game. Then I'm going to take the upstart and probably
about that. Let me ask you something about that Giants Cowboys game. I love it the way they come out with the lines because it's an interesting thing. Even if the Cowboys are up by like 15 or 13 with like a minute to go in the game, right? The Giants could be driving for that touchdown.
Yeah.
That really doesn't have anything to do with the game.
No.
But they still have to score. So you got I got the Giants, right? And the game's over. The Giants say the score's 30-16. The Giants are lost. But like with 42 seconds to go, they're bringing the ball down the field. And I'm going, just give me that touchdown. Just give me that touchdown. Just give me that touchdown. Say the score's 30-17, right? And they score with like 13 seconds to go. So now the score is 30-24, right? I cover with the 7. That's the thing I love about the odds makers is they set these games up with 7 points. And even when the game is over, you still got to watch it.
It's not over still. You're right.
Right.
So that's my biggest risk pick. So I got the Chargers money line because they're -2. I'll just lay the extra money. Chargers over. Cowboys over. Cowboys -7. I'm not going to lay the money line. I really like the Cowboys, but it's a tough pick. It's a tricky pick. Then I'm going to go with the upstart and probably the best team in the NFL right now, the Cardinals. I'm taking the Cardinals, and I'm going to take them -5 against the 49ers and the over. Yeah. I like the Cardinals. I tell you, they proved themselves last week.
They're good.
And they're good. They're good. They're tough to stop. And I was at the bar and I was watching the Cardinal game, and it was a great game, the Cardinal Ram game. And this one guy turned to me as Murray started running. You know, he runs out of that pocket, and he never looks like he's running fast. He just is elusive, and he's got like a different gear, you know, and he just doesn't go to it. But it was so funny. The guy goes, "That little guy." He goes, "You can't see him when he's behind the line." He goes, "But the only thing you can look for is his big head." He called him Big Head. Big Head Murray, he called him. I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "He's got a big head." He goes, "He's got a big head. Look at his head, how big it is." And he moves his head around. You got to look for his head. Watch when he runs. He said he had an alien head. The guy told me he had an alien head. He actually thinks. This guy was crazy. He was probably a couple buckets of beer in, but he actually said that he thinks he's an alien. So I'm taking the alien quarterback of the Cardinals -5 and the over. And then my last pick is the Chiefs, and it's -2.5. So I'm just going to do money line against the Bills, and the Bills over. So Chiefs money line over, Cardinals -5 over, Chargers money line over, Cowboys -7 over. That's my 18 picks. Okay. Some of them money line, some mix and match with the spreads that I like. But, we'll see what happens. But again, everybody out there, the disclaimer is this is the George Costanza Cash NFL picks.
So the point is we're letting you know that these are the games that we like and why we like them. But if you want to win real money, don't pick our teams. Like, pick your teams if you want to win.
Yeah, but it's okay if you really want to take a chance and go with us, because maybe, 1 week will be unbelievable and then the other week we're not, and you go with the George Costanza life, you're still going to win.
I haven't had a losing week yet, buddy. 4 weeks, right? I haven't had a losing week yet. So. Exactly.
Yeah. So So the final sweaty thoughts, I really don't have anything sweaty in my mind, but I would like to just watch a little of this game with you and then sign off. I think that's a pass interference right there.
Yeah, it's a big pass interference.
Is that a big? So I'm going to turn on some volume. Is that bothering you, the volume?
Put it on a 7 or 10 second delay, though, or else it's a breach of NFL, reproducing.
But NFL, I'm not showing it.
Yeah, but
right?
You can't do play-by-play on it.
Even if I don't show it?
Yeah, you can't, because it's a radio, then you're doing a radio broadcast.
Oh,
yeah, so you got to do a 10-second delay or something like that.
All right, so right now, though, can I say it's 0-0 with 9 minutes and 50 seconds left?
No, you can't do that.
Oh.
You can't do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, because then they don't have to. Then they don't have to listen to the radio broadcast. They can listen to Old Men and Sweats and do the game. Like that's, and we're not paying anything.
All right, so right now we're watching a game. It's the Rams and Seahawks, but I cannot tell you specifically how much time is left in the game, or the down in yardage, or the score.
Yeah,
so it's on the.
You can't tell them what just happened right now. You gotta wait.
So I got to wait for a play to complete, right?
Yeah, you got to wait.
So in this game is on the NFL Network and Fox. It's on both for some reason.
Yeah,
this
Troy
week.
Aikman and Joe Buck are doing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So DK Metcalf just beat Jalen Ramsey for a touchdown on a slant pattern, 10 or 15-yard touchdown pass. Yeah.
And they got those green. What do they call those uniforms the Seahawks have on?
It looks like they're monochromatic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the word. That's a good word. They look like go-go green, like at the strip joint. A lot of the girls wear go-go green.
He says that's a good word.
Yeah, that was a good word. It's a really good word. You come up with you had a Larry David word earlier in the show.
What did I say?
It was a Larry David word. I can't remember it.
No, what I said was enough with the quips. When I
I tell you, that's a Larry David word. And now that was a very good word too. And but you know what's funny? Remember when we were back in the second segment after the Raider wrap up? I told you one of the important matchups was what?
Yep.
Metcalf against Ramsey, and now Metcalf just took him.
D, you know your football. There's no doubt you know your football.
Well, I'm looking at. I mean, come on. It's like that's the matchup. That's the matchup. Lockett is probably going to get a lot of targets because they got to. Metcalf's going to have Ramsey on him. That Lockett though, he's been hot and cold this season. So now there's a commercial on, and I can't tell you what the commercial is, but the commercial is something to do with a communication device. So
not for me. My commercial is a beverage.
Oh, okay. So we can say that. But it's interesting because I'm trying to get a handle of this. I know Peyton and Eli do the Monday night one, right? And they show the game because it's Peyton and Eli, and they get permission from them to show it.
They're on ESPN. They're on the same network that's broadcasting the game. So, of course, they can. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you watched that? Is it interesting?
I watched just clips of it. It's very interesting. Peyton and Eli they're very, very funny. It's very good. I haven't watched the whole thing, because you could, if you blink, you're going to get Peyton on something. I mean, he's on everything,
he's all over the place.
But I love him. He's got a great personality. He's very, very funny. He's just he's just great to watch on anything he does. And Eli too. Eli's got a personality. I saw this one clip where Eli was on a talk show. I guess Eli's got a talk show now, and he had Michael Strahan on. And Michael Strahan's got this famous quote during the Super Bowl when he went up to the Giants were down 14-10, and he went up to Eli. It was like a few minutes left in the game or whatever, and he went up to Eli and he said, and he went up to the whole offense. He's on the sidelines. He went up to the whole offense. He goes, "Listen." He goes, "You guys are going to go down and you're going to score a touchdown and we're going to win this game 17-14. That's going to be the final score, 17-14." And he's telling all the linemen, right? 17-14. He's pumping them up and telling them, "You're going to go down and you're going to score against New England," right? And so he's famous for that, where he called it. He told them, "You're going to go down, you're going to score, we're going to win." So then they go back. They show the clip and they go back and they're on the couch. And Eli said, what's funny about that clip is that the camera doesn't have me telling you when we were up 10-7, me telling you, "Listen, you guys are going to hold Brady down and we're going to win this game 10-7. Because it was the fourth quarter. He said, "You guys are going to go out there. You're going to hold Brady down. We're going to win 10-7. But you guys went out there and gave up a touchdown." He said, so you stole it was my prediction first, but you didn't hold up your end.
That's funny. So, but didn't Eli get in trouble the last show? Didn't he do the middle finger?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
And in fact, they didn't do a show. The Raider Charger game, they didn't do a show.
Not because of the middle finger.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't have been the middle finger.
So I got a word for you because you said Peyton Manning's all over the place. If you blink,
he's omnipotent.
You'll miss him. So I got a word for you.
Yeah, he's omnipotent.
Ambiguous.
Huh?
Right? Isn't that a word? Ambiguous. All over the place. Walt Frazier's famous line.
Well, omnipotent. Remember, that was Frazier, omnipotent, but he also used ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous. Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And was it everywhere at one time?
Well, omnipotent means ever present.
Okay, that's a good one. Wow, you're like killing it today.
Yeah.
You're crushing it. Okay, so now we're back at the game, and the Rams have the ball. That's all I can tell you.
Yes.
And I'm watching it. And there's a graphic that tells the score. Okay, so wow, that was a pretty good run. Who is that guy?
That's Sony Michel.
Oh, that's right. They got Sony Michel. They need him.
Yeah.
You know, Sean McVay, he's funny. He looks funny. Like he's in shape. They say he lifts with the players, you know, and he works out a lot.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's a little pudgy too, though.
Well, yeah, he's got a little. Yeah, he definitely has to watch his diet. His diet isn't perfect. Yes.
He looks like one of the pudgy kid from that movie that Rob Reiner did. With the kids.
Where the kids said Pez, cherry flavored Pez.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. He looks like Jerry O'Connell. Jerry O'Connell was the pudgy kid. And Sean McVay, he wears the tight shirt. And sometimes these guys wear the tight shirt and it doesn't really work. Like he's probably in great shape, but he doesn't look as in good shape.
Well,
He's
I wear the tight shirts only because I'm short. I'm short, and if I wear those big loose shirts, I look like a big box. I look like a dressed up fire hydrant. So you know. Yeah.
And you know who else wears those tight shirts? Is that Simon Cowell. Yeah, the Simon Cowell guy from the American Idol and stuff, and he would wear them. Like, let me see, where's Sean? Is he down there? Like everybody else has got loose fitting clothing and sweats, hoodies. And Sean's got this tapered workout Ram logoed outfit.
He's wearing the schmediums.
Yeah.
Right.
So there you go. So there's look at this, man. Is that Woods? So Stafford, he could still throw a ball, man.
Oh, he's good. He could throw.
Good. Stafford, man, he got Woods, Deshaun Jackson,
Cooper Kupp.
Jesus.
Tyler,
they got everybody.
Yeah, they're good. And they got Van Jefferson.
How did they get beat like that by Arizona last week?
Well, Arizona's no joke, man. There's a lot of good teams in the NFL.
So here we go. So it's getting tight here. I'm trying to watch the TV, but there's a candle. Like Kim's got a candle in the front of the TV. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's good to have a candle right in front of the
TV. In the extra room here, there's a candle in front of the TV. Like I have no idea why, but so what was that play? That play didn't go anywhere. This game is a lot lower scoring than I thought. My goodness.
These division games, boy, they're going to battle each other.
So can you imagine the guys right now with the over tickets at the casinos?
What's the over-under on this game? It's got to be high 40s, right?
It's high. It's 50, I think. Let me look. They're thinking right now, all the guys with the over tickets are thinking, they're not even watching the game right now. All the guys with the over tickets for the game, they're sitting there going, can this half end? Because I got to hedge my bet here. And I got to think if I want to bet the under for the second half. Oh my gosh, it's 54.
Yeah,
54.
It's really high.
So now those guys are pinching right now. They're like, they want at least another score to help their over under in the second half, so it goes up a little. Then they can play the under. But right now, these guys are dying. I mean, there's the Rams got the ball. They're in Seattle territory. Okay, what's this play? That's Sony Michel again. Isn't he from Georgia, that guy?
Yeah, he's from Georgia, buddy.
He's good. He caught the ball right there. Didn't he play at New England?
Yeah, they traded for him from New England.
That was a good move.
Yeah.
That's after their other running back got hurt. I actually think this guy might be better than that guy. He's good, this Michel. The
other guy's Cam Akers. That other guy's really good from Florida State. That guy's excellent.
So that's interesting. That was a good deal to get this guy.
These guys, they tear their Achilles tendons too much. They don't do enough dog. I'm telling you, these guys, they don't stretch out their Achilles enough. It's ridiculous.
I think you're right about that. I think that's a good point.
Listen, you got to overstretch your Achilles. You got to overstretch your calf muscles.
I think you're right about that. I don't think they do.
Stretch, but not enough.
The Seattle green uniforms are really weird.
They're awful.
I know they're trying to be fancy, but it's like the guy, a lot of people wear those reflector vests now.
You know what, buddy? I gotta get running here. I gotta take care of a transfer here for Caesars. I just got an email.
Did the Gardner guy leave?
The Gardner guy left. I told you I cut down his I had to cut down his leaf blowing because I didn't need him.
All right, it doesn't matter. This game's like watching paint dry, and I don't want to have any difficulties with the NFL.
For it here. They're going for it.
Okay, let's watch this last play. And I'm going to tell you right now, all you guys at the casinos right now, you should have did George Costanza opposite of the over. You knew you were going to take the over, but you should have taken the under. So now I'm going to say this:
if the Rams can score right now 7-7 at halftime, they're going to have to score 40 points in the second half. They're going to go over.
But what I'm saying is, for the second half, I know all these guys are at the window. They wait. They're waiting. They're in line. And they want to bet the under.
Actually, there's even no guarantee the Rams are going to score a touchdown now.
No. And all these guys are waiting in line to bet the under now to hedge their over bet. And what I'm trying to tell them is, don't be so confident the under in the second half will work. Think George Costanza and go over in the second half.
Yeah.
Don't be nervous. Because right now, you think it's going to go under, but you never know. The Seattle-San Fran game last week was the same way. Nothing happened in the first half, and then they scored some points in the second half. So right now, it really doesn't matter what's happening. I'm not surprised it's close, but I'm surprised it's close in a way that the Rams are shut out.
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with their offense? I'm confused. I mean, the Vikings rolled Seattle. I mean, they crushed them.
Well, the division games are usually tougher.
Yeah, I guess so. My goodness.
They know each other. They know each other. They know all their tendencies and stuff. Yeah.
All right, so this is over. This show has been the catastrophe show. The leakage at Tom's house with a water main. Then my internet goes. And now we're trying to do the game, but I'm really worried about doing the game because I think I'm going to get in trouble with the NFL like Roger Goodell's watching.
I delayed it. I made sure you delayed it. We're good. We're okay.
I could set my TV to delay it, right?
Yeah, you just put it on pause and then play it. 15 seconds behind? You're fine.
Well, maybe we get lucky down the road and we can be Eli and Peyton and actually do it like right during the game.
Okay, that'd be great.
Maybe they get us. All right, so that's it. This has been a long excursion, this show. And we appreciate everybody for watching and listening to Old Men in Sweats. Remember to follow us on our social media, and please go follow us on YouTube
today. You did excellent today, buddy.
Where we do the YouTube show. Please go, subscribe and follow us there every Thursday, 7:30. Unless there's a catastrophe, we will be here 7:30 Eastern time. If we're not here, it means something happened at the house, or something happened in some weird thing why we're late. So don't just check back, and we'll be there. And remember, everyone, this always. It doesn't matter if the show's a catastrophe or not. Remember this. We won't try harder next time. So
don't even ask.
Don't even ask. All right, everybody. Buddy. And now until next time, sweaties. Remember Las Vegas. Stay sweaty. Good night, everybody. I'm going with the Rams, second half. Rams in the over. Rams in the over, second half. Adios.